This may be one of the most powerful and possibly dangerous lessons I've ever shared with you. After this, the way you move through the world will never be the same, because you'll finally understand a secret force you've been unconsciously radiating your entire life. Once you grasp it, you'll never struggle with presence, influence, or impact again. You're about to uncover the hidden frequency that lives inside your nervous system, the same primal current that predators, leaders, and even master persuaders use, sometimes without realizing it, to bend the emotional atmosphere of an entire room. When you learn how to control this force, people will sense you long before they see you, and they'll respond to your presence without ever knowing why. Most of us think we're communicating only through words, appearance, or social signals, but that's only the surface. Beneath it all, there's an invisible current radiating from you every second of your life. You can't see it, you can't directly hear it, but everyone around you feels it. That invisible current has already been deciding, long before you say a word, whether people respect you, dismiss you, trust you, or feel uneasy in your presence. And here's the unsettling truth. This signal has been leaking out of you automatically from the very moment you were born. Most people live their entire lives oblivious to it, stumbling through interactions, wondering why some people are instantly drawn to them while others pull away. They think influence depends on clever words, sharp clothing, social status, or raw talent. They think attraction hinges on beauty, money, or flawless charm. But that belief is wrong. The real game is far deeper, almost hidden from sight. At its core, influence operates through frequency, an emotional signal your nervous system is always broadcasting. Every moment of every day, your body is transmitting a frequency that communicates long before your words arrive. This broadcast can either work in your favor, making you magnetic and desirable, or it can sabotage you in silence, repelling opportunities and undermining trust without you knowing why. Think about this for a moment. Have you ever walked into a room and instantly felt tension before a single word was spoken, or met someone who said nothing at all, yet made you inexplicably nervous? On the flip side, maybe you've encountered someone who instantly put you at ease or impressed you before you even shook their hand. That wasn't luck. It wasn't magic. It was the signal. This signal explains why two people can say the exact same words with opposite results. One inspires, persuades, and earns loyalty. The other gets ignored, dismissed, or even laughed at. What made the difference wasn't the script. It was the broadcast that carried those words. Inside your brain exists a hidden mechanism dictating this signal. It's not something mystical, it's not charisma you're born with, and it's not pure chance, it's neurological. If you learn to tap into it, you gain the ability to bend the emotional climate of any space you walk into. But be warned, this knowledge is not neutral. Used with integrity, it makes you powerful, magnetic, and deeply connected to others. Used without ethics, it can turn you into a manipulator, the kind of person who controls, exploits, and leaves others craving your presence like an addict chasing a fix. And once you understand it, there's no going back, because you'll see it everywhere in yourself and in others. From that moment on, every single interaction becomes a choice. Will you consciously choose the frequency you broadcast, or will you keep leaking it unconsciously and letting chance dictate how others feel about you? Most people never ask this question, but you will. And when you finally glimpse the ancient psychological lever hidden inside your nervous system, you'll understand why you've been treated the way you have in the past, and how to rewrite that story from this point forward. Inside your skull exists the most complex machine known to humanity. Your brain, it holds 86 billion neurons, each firing across trillions of synaptic connections, weaving together thought, perception, and behavior. Yet, despite its complexity, this magnificent network has secret levers almost no one consciously uses. One of the most powerful of these levers is rooted in something discovered less than 4 decades ago: mirror neurons. In the early 1990s, a group of Italian neuroscientists studying monkeys discovered something astonishing. When a monkey reached for a peanut, specific brain cells lit up. That wasn't surprising. But here's the twist. Those same neurons activated when the monkey simply watched a scientist reach for the peanut. The brain, in other words, didn't care if the action was performed by the monkey itself or merely observed in another. It simulated the act regardless. This was a revolutionary discovery in neuroscience. Humans possess this wiring at an even deeper level. It's why you instinctively flinch when you see someone cut their finger. It's why babies begin crying when they hear another baby cry. It's the reason laughter spreads through a theater until even those who don't get the joke start laughing anyway. It's why yawns are contagious. Your nervous system is hardwired to mirror the states of others, automatically syncing with what it perceives in the people around you. And here lies the secret. Because your nervous system constantly broadcasts emotional signals, those signals are being mirrored back by the people around you, whether you realize it or not. That's the hidden frequency of presence. Control it, and you shape not just how people see you, but how they feel in your presence. Ignore it, and you'll keep wondering why your words don't land, your presence is overlooked, or your energy repels the very opportunities you're chasing. Mirror neurons are nature's way of binding us together, the invisible glue that makes empathy, trust, and cooperation possible. Without them, human civilization as we know it couldn't exist. We would be locked away in lonely islands of isolation, unable to intuit, connect, or predict one another's thoughts or feelings. These neurons are the silent foundation of human connection. But here's where the secret starts to turn dangerous. Mirror neurons don't just copy movements, they copy emotions too. And that changes everything. You've felt this before, even if you never had a name for it. Think back to the last time you stood near someone who was silently anxious. They didn't say a word about being afraid, but your body knew, and suddenly you felt it too. Or recall being around someone radiating a calm that couldn't be shaken without effort. Your own breathing slowed, your shoulders loosened, and you felt grounded. Or maybe you've been swept up in someone else's fiery excitement, feeling more alive instantly, simply because of their presence. That's not magic. That's your mirror neurons syncing emotional states, like invisible neural Wi-Fi transmitting signals between bodies. And the unnerving truth, that Wi-Fi never shuts off. Even now, as you pass strangers on the street, text with friends, or listen to voices on a screen, your nervous system is tuning to their broadcast and unconsciously mirroring it back. This is happening non-stop, day in, day out. Most people never realize it, and so they wander through life, broadcasting their unfiltered inner chaos, their hidden frustration, low confidence, angst, or desperate need for validation, 24/7. They leak it without control, without consciousness, without choice. This blind spot is exactly what predators and manipulators exploit. They've learned, sometimes intentionally, sometimes instinctively, that if they can shape their own emotional broadcast, others will automatically sync to them. That's the move of the natural leader, the authoritative presence, or the silent manipulator who bends rooms at will. Meanwhile, the average person trudges forward, still clinging to the belief that influence comes from clever words, logical arguments, or surface-level charm, never realizing the real game was lost long before they even opened their mouth. The reason is ancient. Mirror neurons don't negotiate. They don't wait for evidence or permission. They're pre-verbal, older than language and reason. They don't listen to your arguments. They only scan and feel your presence. And once you understand this, you'll start to see the world for what it really is. An invisible, energetic game being played through signals, not speeches. Suddenly, it makes sense why those with the strongest internal frequency, whether calm, powerful, or magnetic, always seem to pull reality to their side while everyone else wonders why no one listens to them. Whether you like it or not, you are always broadcasting. There's no mute button. There's no hiding place. Your nervous system leaks information. Your emotional weather, every single moment, it spills through your micro-expressions, your body language, your breathing rhythm, the tension resting in your muscles, the shine or dullness in your eyes. Even when you insist you're fine, your signal tells the truth for you. People pick up on it unconsciously, and they respond accordingly, even if they don't know why. Think about walking into a room right after a heated argument. Everyone presents polite smiles, calm voices, the performance of normalcy, but you still feel it. The tension crackling, the heaviness in the air like a storm waiting to burst. That's not guesswork. That's your nervous system locking onto their leftover emotional frequency. Or imagine the opposite. Someone enters a meeting radiating unspoken calm authority. They don't brag or dominate or clamor for attention. Yet suddenly the room sits straighter, breath slows, and eyes turn. That isn't charisma as most people define it. It's signal control. It's emotional frequency shaping the room. This is why some people seem to light up spaces while others drain them, even when neither says a word. It's the reason laughter spreads like wildfire at parties, why panic ripples uncontrollably through crowds, and why we feel irresistibly drawn to certain people or profoundly uneasy around others, long before we know their name, background, or story. The broadcast speaks first. Here's what makes it even more unsettling. You cannot fake your frequency. You can polish smiles, raise your tone, rehearse witty lines, or strike confident poses. But if your emotional broadcast underneath doesn't match, people will feel the incongruence. That's why the coworker who says "I'm fine" makes you instantly suspicious, or the friend whose forced laugh feels hollow, or the partner who insists nothing is wrong but radiates frustration with every breath. On the surface, words say one thing, but the signal screams another, and the nervous systems around them can't help but receive it. This is happening to you as well. No matter how carefully you craft your sentences, edit your appearance, or hide behind polite gestures, people are responding not to your performance, but to your signal. And the harsh truth is that if you don't control it, most people are detecting the static of anxiety, unworthiness, or emotional numbness leaking from you, all before you've said a word. That's why conversations stall, why attraction fades, why strangers seem to keep their distance. They weren't reacting to your words, or even your looks. They were reacting to the frequency you radiated. And here's where the gap widens. While ordinary people stumble forward unaware, manipulators and leaders engineer their signal. They don't wake up hoping their frequency will sort itself out. They consciously shape it. They learn to broadcast calm when others panic, authority when others hesitate, certainty when others waver. In doing so, they tilt the emotional climate of any space in their favor. That's not luck. That's not charisma. That's mastery of presence. A true predator doesn't enter a room hoping to be liked. They don't beg for approval. They don't wait to see how others will respond. Instead, they decide, before they even cross the threshold, what emotional climate they want to create. And then they broadcast that frequency with unwavering certainty until everyone else unconsciously falls into sync. That's why their effect feels almost supernatural. It's easy to mistake it for charisma, magic, or luck, but it's none of those things. It's biology being hijacked. This invisible transmission isn't optional. It's not something you can opt out of. You are either shaping the emotional frequency of a room or being shaped by the frequencies of others. Every conversation you've ever had, Every crowd you've ever stood in, every moment of human connection has been influenced by this silent exchange. Whether you were aware of it or not, your nervous system has been operating like a radio tower, constantly broadcasting a signal. And every nervous system around you, co-workers, friends, strangers, partners, is tuning into it without their conscious permission. The piercing question is, what have you been broadcasting so far? And even more critically, who has been setting your frequency dial? Has it truly been you, guided by intention and awareness? Or have you been unconsciously tuned by parents, culture, past trauma, manipulative influences, or your own unexamined emotions? That distinction defines whether you control your life or you remain at the mercy of forces you don't even see. If you want to reach that razor's edge of intelligence, if you want to master the deepest levers of human psychology, if you want the ability to read people as if they were open books, you'll need more than just glimpses of insight. You need a full arsenal. That's why I created the Whisperer's Power Bundle. It's the complete collection of everything I've ever released on dark psychology, forbidden brain mechanics, mind manipulation, and state mastery. Every ebook, every audiobook, plus lifetime access to every future lesson and release. Imagine a living library of intelligence tools and psychological weapons that never stops growing, constantly updating with advanced strategies, insights, and methods without you ever paying again. The cost of ignorance is years of wandering blind, repeating the same patterns. Compared to that, the value of this arsenal is undeniable. If you've ever felt that society has hidden the real playbook, that schools and mentors only gave you surface knowledge while the real secrets were reserved for the few, this is your chance to correct that imbalance. One action, one click, and you gain access to the forbidden files. Once you have it, you'll never run out of weapons for the mind. And here's the haunting truth. History is filled with figures who not only understood this hidden system, but lived by it. Why do certain people radiate a presence so sharp, it feels supernatural? Why can a single glance from a certain individual drop a room into silence? Why do some leaders inspire entire movements while others can't even manage respect from 3 people at the dinner table? It's not magic. It's not personality quirks. It's not luck. It's the deliberate manipulation of emotional broadcast, the conscious engineering of presence. Think of cult leaders who mesmerized hundreds or even thousands, convincing followers to abandon families, bank accounts, careers, or even their lives. They didn't operate through rational argument. They didn't need ironclad logic or endless facts. Their weapon was their emotional signal, presence so powerful it bypassed the brain's reasoning circuits and rewired loyalty itself. Or consider toxic partners who keep their victims hooked. Even after betrayal, humiliation, and pain, they've mastered an emotional cycle of broadcasting intoxicating warmth, one moment and cold withdrawal the next. The nervous system of their partner becomes addicted, just like with a drug, the euphoria of closeness, followed by the panic of distance. The drug isn't a chemical, it's a person. This same pattern reveals itself in boardrooms and politics. Certain executives can do more with a silent pause than others can achieve with hours of carefully crafted speeches. A politician who can control their rhythm of speech, the micro shifts in eye contact, and the timing of silence can make entire crowds unconsciously calibrate to their frequency. People lean in without realizing why. Breathing slows. The emotional pace of the entire room bends in one direction. That's not coincidence. It's calculated presence. And while it's not always ethical, it's always effective. Here's the principle manipulators understand. Control the emotional frequency, and you control perception. Control perception, and you control action. They don't waste their energy arguing with words. They don't try to convince with logic. They simply tune you. And once your mirror neurons align with theirs, it becomes difficult, almost impossible to resist. You think you're making a conscious choice, but your biology has already been hijacked. That's why it feels so overwhelming, so irresistible. Notice how paradoxical this is. The loudest person in the room isn't always the one who truly holds the power. More often, it's the calmest one, the one with the most stable, unshaking internal signal. Humans crave stability. We gravitate to it instinctively, even if the source of that stability is dangerous. That's why so many people willingly surrender to leaders who ultimately manipulate them, because on a nervous system level, the broadcast feels safe, sure, grounded. And when you finally see this, you'll notice it everywhere. In the boss who can make you feel small or insignificant without saying a single cruel word. In the charismatic speaker whose passion overrides rational debate. In the friend who knows just how to center your doubts so you come running back. The world is full of invisible architects of emotion, people consciously or unconsciously arranging the inner frequency of others. Some use this power responsibly. Many do not. And the terrifying reality is, you've been swimming in this ocean your whole life without realizing it. Therapists, true leaders, healers, and yes, even manipulators use this hidden mechanism for vastly different purposes: power, control, healing, or exploitation. You can deny this reality if you choose, but you cannot escape it. Every day, in every interaction, you are either shaping the emotional weather around you, or you are standing helplessly inside someone else's storm. Now that you understand the inner workings of this mechanism, you face a crucial choice. Will you remain an unconscious transmitter, vulnerable and unaware, exposed to every manipulator and emotional architecture around you? Or will you learn to wield this power deliberately, mastering your own emotional broadcasts? Up to this point, you have seen clearly that your nervous system is always transmitting. That transmission can never be switched off. But, and this is the key, you can choose the quality of your broadcast. Most people never develop this ability. Some stumble upon it by accident, rarely conscious of how it happens. The rarest few deliberately master it, and in doing so they gain extraordinary influence. This mastery unfolds across 3 distinct levels. Each one grants you more influence and more responsibility. Level 1. Surface mimicry. This is the beginner's trap, and where nearly everyone begins, only to get stuck. At this stage, people believe charisma is about copying what they see on the outside. They observe someone magnetic and think it's all about the superficial behaviors, the way they smile, the tone of their voice, the gestures they make. So they imitate the surface without diving deeper. You've probably seen this at parties, someone desperately trying to be the life of the room, forcing jokes, plastering on an overly wide smile, their laugh coming half a beat too late, like it's rehearsed rather than genuine. It feels off. Right, that's no accident. Humans evolved as expert lie detectors because their survival depended on spotting deception quickly in faces, voices, and body language. When the signals your body sends don't match your words, it feels unnatural and unsettling, even if you can't fully explain why. That's why fake smiles make people uncomfortable and why tryhards repel rather than attract. Surface mimicry always fails because you cannot trick mirror neurons. Your nervous system will betray your real emotional state every time. When your body broadcasts insecurity while your mouth shouts confidence, people pick up the truth unconsciously. At this stage, it's not about lacking value or potential. It's about not having alignment yet. The profound harmony between your inner emotions and outer expression. Level 2. Authentic state alignment. This is the real shift, where transformation begins. Instead of faking confidence, you learn to generate it authentically. Instead of copying someone else's energy, you create your own. You stop acting as a caricature and start being. How? First, By turning your focus inward before you step into any interaction or room, you pause and ask yourself, what do I genuinely feel right now? What can I authentically offer here? When you align your internal experience with your outward signals, everything changes. Your tone steadies, your face relaxes, and your smiles come naturally, arising from real warmth rather than rehearsed performance. Charm doesn't need to be forced because genuine curiosity and care make you magnetic effortlessly. At this level, people feel safer around you because they sense your stability and groundedness. Your calm becomes contagious. Your ease encourages others to mirror you, creating resonance and unconscious synchronization of emotional states. This is not manipulation, it is connection. Those who truly lead with integrity operate here, managing their own state, not to control, but to connect and uplift. Level 3. Emotional architecture, the master level. Here, emotions cease to be random, uncontrollable experiences and become consciously designed tools. You realize your internal state can be sculpted and summoned on command, and not just yours, but the emotional climate of those around you as well. This is where the most magnetic leaders, healers, and yes, manipulators play the highest game. They don't merely react to rooms. Rooms react to them. Picture a master speaker walking on stage. Before a single word is uttered, the spiritual current in the room shifts, because they have architected their internal landscape, confidence, vision, warmth, and power fused into a palpable presence, so strongly that everyone else unconsciously sinks into their frequency. Or think of a manipulator who alternates between moments of intoxicating euphoria and desperate withdrawal, one expertly pressing emotional buttons to engineer addiction, attachment, and dependence. At this level, emotions become a fluent language, spoken and read with precision. Ethically, this mastery can heal trauma, unite fractured teams, and inspire revolutions. Unethically, it can birth cults, obsession and domination. The power here is immense. You are no longer at the mercy of rooms or circumstances. You set the emotional weather wherever you go. But with this power comes a haunting, unavoidable question. What will you build with it? Knowledge is worthless if it's not tested. Mastery demands choice and courage. Will you use these levers to uplift or to exploit, to connect or to control? The path you choose defines not just your presence, but your legacy. You could watch 1,000 swimming tutorials and still drown the moment you hit the water. The same is true here with mastering your emotional broadcast. No amount of theory or explanation will replace direct experience. To truly understand and control your presence, you must practice it in motion, in real interactions, live and unfiltered. Tonight, choose one human connection to focus on. It can be anything: a conversation with a friend, a brief exchange with a stranger at the store, or a chat with a coworker after work. The only rule is this: no rehearsed lines, no fake smiles, no scripts, just one simple goal: broadcast presence deliberately. Here's how to begin. Step 1. Kill the inner static. Most people sabotage themselves before they even speak. Inside their minds, a constant commentary runs wild. Do they like me? Am I coming off awkward? Should I say something clever? This inner noise spills out as nervous energy, which others feel instantly and respond to unconsciously. Your very first task is to create silence inside, just for a few moments. Take a deep, slow breath and let your body settle. Release the relentless self-surveillance. This pause isn't forever, but it's crucial. Silence your inner critic enough to ground yourself. Step 2. Shift the spotlight. Now, move your attention outward, not onto their words or how they look, but onto their emotional weather. Ask yourself quietly, what is this person really feeling right now? Are they tense, relaxed, excited, or guarded. For this moment, forget about yourself entirely. Immerse fully in their state. This shift from self-focus to other focus reprograms your nervous system to sync authentically. Step 3. Read the subtle signals. Don't just listen to the words. Watch the body language and subtle clues. Notice the flicker of a half smile, the way their torso leans forward or away slightly, the almost imperceptible sigh between sentences, or the drop in their voice when a certain topic arises. Your mirror neurons are naturally wired to detect these signals if you remain still and open enough to notice. These tiny cues reveal the real emotional undercurrents behind their words. Step 4. Drop the agenda. This is critical. You must let go of trying to impress, persuade, or get approval. Instead, become genuinely curious about their inner world. Approach them like a mystery you want to decode, not a person you want to win over. Humans crave this kind of deep, focused attention because it is extraordinarily rare. They will feel it instantly, even if they can't describe why. Something remarkable happens when you do this. Your own insecurities begin to dissolve, the mental chatter quiets, and your nervous system stops broadcasting fear. Instead, it transmits calm, grounded presence. The other person may feel truly seen, perhaps for the first time all week. You'll find you don't need perfect words or timing. The signal of real attention does the work, because genuine presence is magnetic. But don't stop there. Try variations of this experiment. At work, walk into a meeting filled with tension and silently radiate calm. Notice how the voices soften, shoulders relax, and moods shift. With strangers in a busy line or cafe, pick one person and hold your awareness on them without judgment. Watch how their body unconsciously responds. With friends or partners, give them 5 minutes of pure, undivided presence. No phones, no distractions, no waiting for your turn to speak, and see how they light up from being truly seen. Practice this, and you'll discover something profound. You have far more influence than you realize, even in silence. In today's world where attention is fractured and distracted, this focused presence is one of the rarest and most precious gifts you can offer, and rare gifts carry profound power. When someone feels deeply seen, their brain floods with chemicals linked to love, safety, and euphoria. They may forget your exact words or outfit, but they will never forget how you made them feel, and they will crave more of that connection. That craving is also where the dark temptation begins, and that's what we'll explore next. You've just uncovered how the invisible broadcast inside your mind shapes everything around you. But this is only the beginning. There's an even deeper level, the hidden tactics manipulators use to control entire groups, and the powerful counter-moves that make you untouchable. If this video reaches 50,000 views, I'll release part 2, the underground strategies no one talks about publicly. Comment part 2 below if you want me to drop it sooner. The louder the call, the sooner it comes.